Thank you for being here. For those of you, my name is Ann Grafton. I have the pleasure of serving as Executive Vice President for the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company, and I couldn't be more pleased to welcome you all here today. Probably not new news since we have it on the Jumbotron, but we are so excited to share this press conference with the world today, extending our partnership and our relationship with the USFL. How exciting is that? So I want to thank you all for being here with us. I want to send special thanks to the community members that are with us, who are also our strongest supporters. And I also want to say thank you to our team for, without you, we wouldn't be able to do things like this today. So thank you all. It's my wonderful pleasure now to introduce John Vitale, my colleague, who will share rules of engagement for today.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Good to see some smiling faces. Good to see a packed house. Daryl Johnston, Michael Crawford, and Coach Horton will take questions following formal remarks. Everyone looks like they're all seated, so I think we're in good shape. First, I'd like to introduce the host of Fox NFL Sunday, Fox NFL Thursday, and the lead announcer for the USFL, Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Do I have to follow the rules of engagement? Sounds pretty serious here. Well, great to be here. I know, like, for those of us from Southern California, we're like, thanks for making it through the storm, but for you, this is just January in Northeast Ohio. So we appreciate you taking the time to come out and do this in person. Those of you that are watching online and other places, you know, for me, this is the third straight year that I've been able to come to Canton. We were here for the induction of the class of 2021 at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In the summer of 21, when Jimmy Johnson went in. We were here last summer to cap off the inaugural season for the USFL when the Philadelphia Stars and Birmingham Stallions played for the championship, and Birmingham won a thrilling game that was seen all across the country on Fox Sports to a large audience. And now we're back again this year, my third straight year in Canton. And two things that have really stood out to me about being in this area. One, I'm surprised at how good the restaurant. Shout out to Bender's and also Gervasi's winery. And then the other one is the passion for people and their love of football here. And it's not just football fans that are here. You have football fans all over the country, but there's a passion that exists here in this part of the country that you don't find in a lot of other places. And that was shown last year when the championship game was played here. And we saw a packed house and parents and kids and getting autographs and just enjoying the atmosphere. And that showed on television, which made a better broadcast for us. But it was really something special, and I'm looking forward to being able to, I guess, share this announcement today with some other people that will be extended maybe a little bit more here. So throughout the day, we're going to have Fox Sports CEO Eric Shanks will come up and speak, Michael Crawford, who's the president and CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment, and Coach Ray Horton of the Pittsburgh Maulers. But first, I'm going to bring up the Executive Vice President for the USFL for Football Operations, Daryl Moose Johnston, to kick us off.
Thank you, Kurt. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. 6 months ago, when the USFL handed over the first championship trophy to the Birmingham Stallions just outside this room, little did we know that we'd be back here today to say we are back. The USFL is excited that the Pittsburgh Maulers and the New Jersey Generals will practice and play games in Canton during the 2023 regular season. Thanks to a successful season one that was capped by an incredible postseason here in Canton, the USFL is now a proven and stable brand on the professional football national stage. Season two is about growing our fan base by continuing to play high quality and competitive football that fans love to watch, expanding into additional markets, and strengthening our partnerships. Returning to Canton for 2023 achieves these goals. The outstanding regional support we received during our first postseason from football fans in Ohio and Pennsylvania, including the great city of Pittsburgh, coupled with our successful partnership with the Hall of Fame Village, led to this moment. The Pro Football Hall of Fame Village shines as a beacon for football fans across the country. Because we know these fans crave more football, we're also thrilled to announce that the USFL North Division playoff game and championship game will return here in 2023. While we remain committed to incrementally placing all teams into their namesake markets, expanding play in Canton with two iconic franchises, continues building a regional fan base, keeps the brand in the national consciousness, and strengthens the league's partnerships with the Hall of Fame Village in preparation to bring postseason games back to Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Fans who attended last year's playoffs here got to see USFL Season 1 MVP Cavante Turpin and all-star USFL player Maurice Alexander Jr. returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. When our season ended, both players moved on to the NFL, where Cavante was just selected to the NFL Pro Bowl. It demonstrates the high-quality football that fans can expect here in Canton during the upcoming 2023 season. Crowning a USFL champion last July was a generational accomplishment because the UFL did something no one else could: complete a successful spring football season and return for Season 2. In fact, it's been nearly 40 years since a major professional spring football league has accomplished this feat. Here in Canton, the USFL showed that our league has a strong future. Our thrilling championship game had 1.5 million viewers and a capacity crowd who enjoyed an electric atmosphere. We're proud of the brand of football we provided our fans, and we expect Season 2 to be even better. We're confident because we continue to embrace opportunities while fulfilling every commitment to include expansion. In November, we announced that the Memphis Showboats and Houston Gamblers will be hosted in Memphis. We also announced that the Birmingham Stallions and the New Orleans Breakers will be hosted in Birmingham. And today, we're back in Canton because fans in this region share our passion to celebrate football. In 2023, the USFL is proud to bring high-quality and competitive football to Canton, Birmingham, and Memphis. In the days ahead, we'll make more news about what is going to be an exciting USFL Season 2 that begins in April. But first, it's our privilege to announce that the Pittsburgh Maulers and the New Jersey Generals will face off in Canton's first regular season game on Sunday, April 23rd. Fans can pre-register for USFL Canton game tickets via Ticketmaster to make a deposit for $25 and lock in priority access. The man leading the Pittsburgh Maulers is a 3-time Super Bowl winner. One of those is a teammate of mine with the Dallas Cowboys. He is very familiar with this region, having been a defensive coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers as a secondary coach and a defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the newest member of the USL family, your head coach of the Pittsburgh Maulers, Ray Horton.
Thank you, teammate. So many years ago, I don't know if we would have thought we'd be standing here working for Fox and the USFL and continuing great football and great friendship. I appreciate that. And I want to thank Mr. Shanks for the opportunity of a lifetime. It really is. I want to welcome all you guys here. We will be very media friendly. If you need something, just ask, you'll get it, okay? Speaking of media, Darren James, who's a vice president of communications, he's not here, he's in Detroit right now. And he's the one that comes up with all these great words and sayings and commas and adjectives, and he's a great guy. But here's what he gave me. He said, Ray, stand up, say thank you, and sit down, okay? Darren and I haven't met yet, but he'll go, wow, he may be a wordsmith, but I'm a storyteller, so I'm not gonna sit down, okay? We may not today be at the hallowed grounds of Arlington National Cemetery, where men and women sacrifice their all for our freedoms. But we are at the revered grounds of pro football. We're here at Canton, Ohio, backdrop of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where men have created dreams for little kids to go, one day, mommy, one day, daddy, I'll be in that building. So for us, it's a perfect backdrop. For me personally, I'm not going into the Hall of Fame wearing a gold jacket giving a speech, but I am at the Hall of Fame giving a speech wearing my gold of the Pittsburgh Maulers. Okay? Now, for most of you guys, some of you guys are from Ohio, some of you guys aren't. Does anybody know what the motto on your license plate is? Nobody knows what it says on the bottom of your license plate? Nope. There we go. The birthplace of aviation. I'm a private pilot, and if I took off from Canton Airfield over here, they told me to take off of 22 right. As I push that throttle, start running down that runway, lift off, give it a little bit of right rudder to keep it even. If I took a heading of 258, I go a little bit southwest down to Dayton, home of Wright brothers, birthplace of aviation. Well, I kind of feel like Ohio is my birthplace into professional football. I was originally out of the University of Washington, and I was originally first drafted by the LA Express of the USFL. Then, in the second round, I was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, whose owner at the time was Paul Brown, one of the innovators of pro football. I mean, a brilliant man. And I remember some of the stories he told me, just chilling stories of life and men and America. His son is still down there now, Mike Brown, and his other son, Pete Brown, who's one of the most compassionate men in football, passed away a few years ago. I was devastated by that. He was probably the most kindest soul in football I've ever met. And Katie Brown Blackburn is still down there, and the Bengals are doing well. I also coach up at Cleveland Browns, and although we didn't win a lot, I tell you what, the fans of Cleveland adopted me as one of their own. I love the fans of Cleveland. Then, of course, we were at Pittsburgh, and we were fantastic over there. So I look at the triangle of Southern Ohio, Northern Ohio, Western PA as my kind of birthplace of pro football, and I'm indebted to that. When I was a player, I was a good player. Darryl was a better player than I was, but I was a good player, and I helped my teams to 2 Super Bowls, and I became a coach. I was a much better coach than I was player. I helped my teams to 3 Super Bowls. I helped players to become Hall of Famers, Pro Bowlers, starters, guys that stayed in the NFL longer than probably they thought. I still get calls from people saying, Coach, and I can show you texts from players that go, Coach, I wouldn't be in this game if it wasn't for you. But I think ultimately what my biggest compliment is, I believe I've made these men better human beings and better men. I really do. I think it's so cool that the Pittsburgh Maulers are going to be here in Canton. It gives us a great backdrop of watching that stadium, watching the facility, watching the fans, and being able to tour it. And I think when I came here, we've been here a few times as teams. One time when Dick LeBeau was getting introduced in the Hall of Fame. To me personally, the coolest thing about the Hall of Fame, you get to walk through, you get to see whoever your favorite team. Mine growing up was Kansas City. But when you walk through, you get to see rings. You get to see rings. It's about winning. And for us to have our players here in the Hall of Fame Village, what an awesome experience this is going to be. And when you look at what this triangle I'm talking about of Western PA, Northern and Southern Ohio, it's going to be so cool to have our guys here. When you look at what this is, Massillon, Ohio, the Tigers. When you look at the very first pro football game, Latrobe, PA versus Jeanette. So this background here, this triangle that I call it, is huge to pro football. And the Pittsburgh Maulers and the USFL are indebted that you guys are letting us play on this hollow ground. When you look at the Akron pros, Fritz Pollard, the first black player coach arguably in pro football. The Canton Bulldogs right here, Jim Thorpe. Everybody knows the story of Jim Thorpe, excuse me. And then for me personally, Don James, he was from here too. He is why I'm here. And lastly, what we want to do here is the Pittsburgh Maulers are going to be embedded in this community. Whether we go to McKinley High School, which is right next door. I know today's a snow day, but we're going to be in the community. We're going to visit high schools. We're going to invite the players out, the coaches out for clinics, whether we're at Glen Oaks, Washington, Hoover, Canton. We're going to be in the community, and we're going to try to embrace what you guys are giving us and give it back to you. So if you can, come visit the Hall of Fame and watch the USFL grow. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll make sure Darren knows that was not good advice. Thank you so much for your stories. Now you can see why the USFL is so excited to have Ray Horton as part of our family and why we pursued him as hard as we did. I can't wait to see not only the impact you make on the field, but as you said, what your players become as they move on in their journey in life. Thank you so much for being a part of the team.
I think Darryl said it best. I mean, it's not just Ray, it's the quality of people that are involved in the USFL that is one of the joys that I have being a part of it. And you know, you take a look at this, and for me, we talk about the past of football, but when you pair it with an iconic place, then that's what makes it special. And we're here, I can tell you, I moved in 2006 when I got the gig on the NFL on Fox pregame show, drove cross country from New York City to Los Angeles, spent 17 days, getting a chance to see some of the special places that we have in America that I think we take for granted a lot. But the first stop I made, I drove from New York City, I kid you not, was here in Canton, Ohio, because I wanted to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'd never been before. That was the first stop I made on a 17-day journey. That was 2006. It was just the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And it was just a building that was there, and it was great. But there wasn't a whole lot around it. Well, now it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame Village. And it has grown, it continues to grow. We got a chance to see it the last couple of years. I talked about being here, and there's more to come. And to talk about that and the connection with the USFL, I'd like to introduce the CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Village, CEO and President. Don't want to shortchange you there. You got two jobs. You got to earn it. Come on up here, Michael Crawford.
Well, first of all, I'm not sure that I can add a lot to this. And when Ray was standing here talking, Eric bent over to me and he said, I think he's going to be good for you. I think he's going to be good for football, period. And I really am excited to welcome you here. There's a lot of analogs between what the USFL and Fox are doing and what we're doing. And what we're doing, we'd like to believe, is creating a world-class destination that sort of straddles the line between sports and entertainment. Sounds a little familiar. You're giving birth, maybe the second time, to what I would consider to be some of the best football I saw here last year. It was so compelling. The fans, the quality, everything was top-notch and excellent. And I was honored we had a chance to have a dinner last night, and my team, Mike Levy and Ann and Vic and so many others that are here, did such a phenomenal job last year that USFL and Fox said we had to come back. That's not by coincidence. That's blood, sweat, and tears. People really genuinely pour their hearts into everything we do here. We've created a lot of new assets. We have a 100,000 square foot center for performance. We got a fan engagement zone with really unique new assets, restaurants, Top Golf, Don Shula's American Kitchen, lots of things for people to do. So we're excited when we think about hosting a regular season for a professional football league. Never done that before. Right behind us, I think we have one of the best stadiums in America. May not have the capacity that some stadiums have, but when you put the amenities, the quality, the care in which that facility was designed to accommodate the media, the players, the coaches, I think people are going to really enjoy, and they have already, watching world-class football here. I'd also say just a couple of things. When I showed up in December of 2018, there was a little bit of skepticism in the community. There was a lot of things that had been promised and talked about. And building these kinds of destinations, it's not easy. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes funding, as some of us all know when you want to start something new. But it also takes great partners. There's several people in this room that have been great partners. Our county commissioners, our city council, heads of our local community foundations, Visit Canton. A lot of folks have made this day possible. I get credit for doing this. Let me tell you something. I'm just a guy that gets to pull a few strings and gets to coordinate some of the plays. I consider myself a coach as well, Coach, and I'd love to talk to you because I think there's a lot of things I can learn from you. But I can say in business, you're only successful when you have great partners and you have great teams. I look at the USFL as a great partner. What they're doing what they're launching is tagging on to our motto, inspiring the past, honoring the past, inspiring the future. They're honoring what has happened and everything, and I think paying tribute to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the greats that have been inducted there, the players, the contributors, the coaches. But they're giving these young men an opportunity to further their dream, to be a professional football player, to be a professional football coach. That's something I have a lot of passion for. Everything we do, we want to do it at the highest level. Our destination here continues to evolve. We've put a lot of new assets in place. Experiences are going to be opening. We're going to be entertaining guests before and after. And yeah, we have created an opportunity for people to walk around freely with beverages and feel good about where they're at. We've got outdoor rides. We're building a football-themed water park this year, building a football-themed hotel this year, the only football-themed water park in America. So the goal here is, and I think Larry said this last night, this is turnkey. It's purpose-built to host great events, great entertainment, great sports. I am so honored, we are so honored to have this league choose us as one of the 4 destinations to play. I have to say I've been a Cleveland fan my whole life, so Coach, I honor what you've done there, and that's the part I'm holding on to. I'm not sure I can root for the Pittsburgh Maulers, but gosh darn it, I'm looking forward to some great football. You'll win me over, and the New Jersey Generals, and all of the teams that are going to come here to play. I think Canton, Stark County, this region, Western Pennsylvania, Northeast Ohio is going to be blown away by the show that you guys are going to put on. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming today. Again, it's our honor to host you here, and it's a privilege to be associated with USFL and Fox. It really is. Thank you.
And just to piggyback on one of the things that Michael said, he talked about the opportunities for players and coaches. You know, one of the great things about a league like the USFL, and I've seen it happen, it provides opportunities for so many people. It's not just players and coaches, it's announcers, it's equipment people, it's training staff, it's officials. Don't go yet. 8 of them moved on to the National Football League last year out of the USFL, but it provides people an opportunity to keep their dream alive, to chase it a little bit longer. Whether you're a young man, young woman, and getting older man or older woman, it still gives you that opportunity. And the guy who had the vision to put all of this together and bring the USFL back is the CEO and executive producer of Fox Sports, my boss, Eric Jenks.
All right, thank you, Kurt. Good to see such a packed house here this morning. I won't be long, but I just wanted to say a number of thank yous that made today and this entire operation possible. On the USFL and Fox side, I see Larry Jones, Dan Carey, who runs the business operations side of the USFL, while Daryl runs the football side. Thank you, Mike, and then the other Mike Levy, also John and Ann and Vic. Thank you guys so much for not only what you did for our playoffs and championship game last year, but as Mike said, making it impossible for us to go anywhere else for 2023. I also want to thank Kurt for hosting today. Coach, it's a real privilege and honor to have you on board. If that initial speech didn't make people want to play for you, it at least made them want to come to your meetings, right? I think they're going to be pretty darn interesting. It was actually exactly 1 year ago today that we were in snowless Birmingham, Alabama, announcing actually season 1 of the USFL. Our goal at that time was to quite simply celebrate football. The appetite for football in this country is insatiable. And at Fox and now at the USFL, and I know here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, we truly believe that football is more important to this country than just what happens between the white lines. It's a social good. And as we continue to expand the footprint of the USFL, we think we're going to do a lot of good in these communities, not just for the men who play the game, for the coaches who coach, but for the communities themselves. And we were also, as Daryl said, able to crown a champion of a spring football league in a very long time, something that hadn't been done in nearly 40 years. We handed out
that trophy to the Birmingham Stallions. And after the game, it was so cool to place it in its rightful place just over in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where it sits for fans year-round to come see it. And it's because Canton is that home of football and the fantastic partnership with the Hall of Fame that it's great to officially welcome Canton to Season 2 of the USFL. So whether it's in the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium watching the games, or if you're watching on your couch on Fox or NBC, the USFL is going to bring fans closer to the game that it loves. And we hope that fans and families, because it is such a family-friendly atmosphere that we want to create around the USFL, when they come to Canton to celebrate football by seeing a USFL game, visiting the Hall of Fame Museum, or checking out the amazing programming that's going to happen in the Hall of Fame Village, starting with that first game right here on April 23rd. So we just couldn't be more excited to kick off Season 2. Again, thank you to everyone who's making this happen, for all of us at the USFL, and to making this vision and dream come true. Kurt, back to you. Oh, actually, John, I think, is going to bring up for a little Q&A. So, John, take it away. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Eric. At this point, I'd like to invite Michael, Daryl, and Coach up to the podium for Q&A. All right. Thank you, everyone. We will start with questions in the room, and then we'll move to our Zoom audience. Just as a reminder, to pose your question, raise your hand, state your name, affiliation, and direct your question. We'll run a microphone to you real quick so the folks online can see as well. First question.
Hi, Joe Scalzo with Crane's Cleveland Business, and I wonder if you guys could just talk about the decision to host games here but not have a team in Canton specifically.
Well, I think the big thing for us is we want to do it incremental. We want to move out incrementally, be smart, fiscally responsible. And one of the big reasons we were in Birmingham with all 8 teams in one LS. We knew there were going to be challenges, but what we've seen with the other 2 leagues is growing really quickly and getting yourself into a little bit of trouble at that time. So one of the big things that we've done is to kind of move with that pace that's smart, gives us the best opportunity to succeed, and we fully plan to move our teams into their marketplaces at some time, but we have to do it in a way that's successful for us. And we ask our coaches to do it a lot. You know, Ray's focus is going to be on the Pittsburgh Maulers, but there's going to be times where the focus needs to be on the USFL as well. So balancing big picture with the success of your team is something that we ask our coaches to do, and we have to follow suit and just be smart there. So the proximity to Pittsburgh and here in the Hall of Fame in Canton, we felt was a great fit. And you've got, Ray's going to be partnered with Mike Riley, and Mike is a great coach as well, you know, with the New Jersey franchise that's based here in Canton. But you've got two of the best guys in our football family that are going to be making Canton home.
Thanks, Joe. Next question.
Hi, Ed Bulent, reporter with the Canton Repository. Apologize for being late, but I got stuck in the snow, and I guess everyone else is a better driver than me. But,
are you from Ohio, born and raised?
Yes, I am.
That's a dusting out there. It's just a dusting.
I know, all my life. You talked about a lot of the people on stage there about helping out the community, having an impact on the community. Could you comment on that in terms of community involvement, economic development, just any aspect of that, please?
Well, for me, this morning I tried to go to McKinley High School to Glen Oaks. You guys had a snow day. And being, as I said, in the Triangle, I've seen a ton of snow, and I was like, really? Things have changed. But no, we do. We want to help. For me, it's kids, young kids, boys and girls. You now have women coaching. Somewhere there's going to be a woman in the Hall of Fame. So for us, it is community. And because it's a game that, you know, most of us played some kind of sports or athletic or loved athletics, giving back to the community. And so today I'm going to, snow day or not, stop by some high schools in the area if they're closed next time I come in. But that's my part of it, is giving back to the young part of the community.
Yeah, I think that's well said. For us, you know, being the venue, the destination, as we've always said, economic impact on the community is a major priority. And I can tell you from experience, when you're creating all of these types of assets, there's tax associated with that, but there's also uplift in the community. When these teams come into play and they start practicing in March and other teams are having games here, they're staying somewhere in our community, they're eating somewhere in our community. And so it really does create value directly and indirectly on an economic point of view. The other side of the coin is when you think about the Fox partnership here and nationally televising these games, the ability for Canton to have the exposure and to create awareness around all the great things that are happening in our community is invaluable for us. So we're very thankful to have the opportunity to host, to be able to create that economic uplift, and also to be able to give even greater profile to our community.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Mike.
Hi, Mark Bona, Cleveland.com. Two-part question. Michael, for you, you touched on the invaluable exposure and the economic impact. I know you have a lot going on in terms of youth sports. You've got restaurants. You've got pro football here, college football. I've covered all the HBCU games. Kind of an easy question, but I am curious. Where does the USFL stand in terms of those potential draws? You have a lot more going on, more than ever, I think, in Canton. So where does the USFL stand? Is this the number one attraction? Is it in the top 5? Because you obviously have expanded this. The second part of the question, piggybacking off of that, is if I'm understanding this right, Daryl, the league has moved away from the doubleheader semis format and has split that. I may be misreading that, but I was just curious about the change in the format. So, Michael, if you want to start with that.
Sure. Look, anytime you get partnerships, as I said, are critical for us. Anytime you have an opportunity to partner with a world-class league, a professional league like the USFL, with a world-class media company like Fox, I think it's always got to be a priority for us. And the volume of activity that's created around this, I mean, Kurt pointed out, these are not just players and coaches. These are reporters. These are support individuals. It takes a lot to generate and create a professional football game. Doing that multiple times in our city certainly has a dramatic impact versus a one-off event. Having said that, our goal is excellence in everything we do. And I really appreciated last night in Eric's comments about us making it difficult for them not to come back. That was our goal. We wanted to create a destination, we wanted to provide service, and it's the same for our guests, and it's the same for anybody else, other partners and other events that we're going to host here. We want to be the best at what we do. We're not trying to boil the ocean. We want to be selective on the partners that we have, and we want to make sure that every time we do something, we can do it at the highest level. So yeah, it was critical for us. And I would say right now, Enshrinement Weekend sets at the very top of our list, honoring the past, inspiring the future, making sure those greatest players and contributors and coaches who've ever played have a place to be honored here in Canton, Ohio, at the birthplace of professional football. But look, having a chance at a league, playing regular season games, divisional playoff, and championship game here, you better believe this is a big opportunity for us as a company and a big opportunity for us as a community.
I like that synergy.
As a player, you get yourself ready to play the game, and you're tied into your offense, and that ties into the team. As a broadcaster, I get myself ready to do the broadcast with my partner and with our group. Last year was eye-opening for me to see what goes on behind the scenes that I was never aware of. I mean, travel, meals, Ray and I would go, we'd show up and everything's laid out and it's all ready to go. Hey, that's awesome. Well, there's a lot of people doing that work behind the scenes, and that was one of the biggest revelations for me last year. You learn more about all the different components, about not only building the league, but the teams, the production, the broadcast. What we're going to have this year with lead-ins to some of our USFL games is absolutely amazing. So you're going to be coming off an event like the Preakness and rolling into an NBC game. Fox and NBC have done a tremendous job of giving us these lead-ins into our games. And that was one of the big decisions for the semifinals. was just a decision based on the window, maximizing viewership, creating a rating, and then we'll talk to our coaches on the back end about the split and get them on board. It's like I mentioned with Ray. Sometimes it's going to be about the Maulers. Sometimes it's going to be about the Maulers and the USFL. And that's a conversation we'll have with our coaches when the time is right. But the biggest reason is maximizing the exposure of our product on two great platforms when you talk about Fox and NBC. Because I grew up watching football on TV. There's nobody that does it better than the NFL on Fox and NBC Sunday Night Football. Those are the two crown jewels when you talk about the broadcast and the presentation of professional football today. They're our partners. And when it comes to decisions based on things that are involved in that component of our league, then we look to them for the guidance.
Thank you, Mark. Other questions in the room?
Ducky with the USFL Newsroom, and just a question for Coach. How does it feel playing with your son, or coaching with your son, with the Pittsburgh Maulers now?
I appreciate that, Ducky. One of the reasons I'm here is Daryl, and we had a long conversation about this topic. And the word I used to Daryl was legacy. And whether you're a doctor, a dentist, you can create a legacy for your son to grow up in your law practice. It's kind of rare in the sports profession. It's becoming a little bit more commonplace. If I said the Belichicks, if I said the Shanahans, it's starting to become a thing. But for Eric and for Daryl and for the USFL to give me, a guy that looks like me, the opportunity to have a legacy with my son, I think it's important. And Daryl and I talked about that, and I appreciated his understanding and willingness to go, I like that, let's do it. So to me, it's going to be an honor. It's going to be he understands me. We talk every day. We're ahead of the curve on installs and playbooks. And I think when you have a child, whether it's a son or a daughter, that follows your footsteps, you kind of look back and go, wow, they're just like me. But he's beyond me. I mean, in knowledge and I won't say experience, but in accoutrement, he is a heck of a coach. And he's going to kick me out of the league because he's that good. So I'm looking forward to him, and he's going to get the opportunity to talk to you. We are kind of co-head coaches, if you will. He's the assistant head coach, and I'm going to give him everything he can handle. But he's a brilliant young mind. Thanks, Ducky.
Yeah, when we had that position open, we had two positions open up this year, and a lot of the people that cover the USFL talked about internal hires, and Jaron Horton was number one on that list by far. So his day will come, as Ray said, his day will come to fulfill his legacy.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Coach. We're going to take a minute to go to our Zoom audience now for the next questions.
Hi, Ace from the USFL Network. My question is for Coach Horton. I was wondering, in what ways do you plan on changing or enhancing the culture of the Pittsburgh Maulers in season 2?
Well, the first thing, it has to be accountability. I can say whatever I want, but they don't buy in. And I've heard today Kurt, Daryl, Eric, Michael talk about opportunity. And for me, that is the biggest, my favorite word in the American dictionary. And I've read, can I say thousands of books? I've read, no, so I heard somebody laugh. I'm a voracious reader. I've read every Tom Clancy, every James Patterson, Baldacci, you name it, the Bible, everybody. I voracious reader. And to me, the one word that means the most is opportunity. And we talked about it. I don't care who you are in your walk of life. If you're sitting in here, every man and woman in here wants an opportunity to be better, to better themselves. And we are going to give our players that. That's heads up to any player out there watching. My first meeting, you're going to get the word opportunity a lot, because if you're talented enough if you're smart enough, which they are, we will give them the opportunity to succeed. We'll give them the opportunity, but they have to have the willpower, the talent, and sometimes when your opportunity comes, you better be ready to answer it, because sometimes it passes you by. So how are we going to change it? What are we going to do for culture? It's going to be opportunity. It's hard work and all that. We want that thing right there. And it's going to be hard work. We won one game last year. We're going to try to give our fans what their expectations are. And it's hard winning football. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. And my second question is for Moose Johnston. I was wondering, in the original 5-year plan, when the USFL was starting back up last year, was moving to the northern hubs in that original plan, or with the success of season 1, has the plan been accelerated a bit?
No, this has always been the plan that Eric Shanks provided to us, my first day there. The big thing was we talk about this all the time last year with our players and everybody in the league: crawl, walk, run, right? That was our motto. So year 1, here's the plan, here's your marching orders, let's go out and execute. We knew what year 2 was going to look like, and we have an idea of what the thoughts and plans are for year 3. But for us to really be successful, we've got to stay. I'm in year 2. I'm not worried about year 3 right now. I mean, it's just year 2 for us on the football side. We've got a lot of work to do with the expansion. It was easy last year in one city for a number of reasons. It has its pluses and minuses, but the biggest plus was we had all of our people there, and teamwork, that you hear that word repeated over and over again here, teammates. That one of the biggest things I talk about to our group is being a good teammate. And we had people in the athletic training department helping out the equipment guys helping out production. You didn't have a title. There were no titles that happened during the course of the weekend that were a part of your designation during the course of the week. Your title was get the job done, and get the job done the best you can. And when you need to lean on somebody, lean on somebody. When you can help, go help somebody. That's what we did in Birmingham, and that's what will continue to be a part of the fabric of the USFL moving forward into these other hubs. When we're in Birmingham and our teams are going up to Memphis to play, guess who's coming with them? A lot of staff from Birmingham, because that's a heavy lift for all those people in Memphis to get that work done with the people who are in Memphis. So we're going to continue to grow as a USFL family, being great teammates and helping each other out. But yeah, we definitely had an idea of what the rollout was going to be, and we're going to be able to control that, but it will always be based on our motto last year, which is crawl, walk, run.
Can I add something to that? This is part of Coaching 101, and I told you I'm a storyteller. Crawl, walk, run. But they forgot to tell you something in real life. There's another walk and then a crawl as you get older, if you're old enough to survive. So enjoy the ride. That's why I tell my players, this doesn't last forever. So you may crawl, walk, run, and then as you get to the other side of that curve, you're going to start walking again because you can't run. Then you're going to crawl, and hopefully your kids will take care of you.
I didn't even know about that part. I didn't know about that part.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Daryl. Next question online. We'll wait just for a moment. All right. That's it for the Q&A session. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Daryl. If I could have you take a seat.
Thanks, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our special remarks. Thanks again to Kurt Menefee, Daryl Johnston, Coach Horton, and Eric Shanks, Michael Crawford, and everyone who attended. Special thanks to the media in the room and tuning in virtually. One last thought. Don't miss being part of history when the Pittsburgh Maulers and the New Jersey Generals kick off their season on April 23rd, right back here at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Fans can lock in priority access to all USFL games played in Canton by going to theusfl.com and hoffvillage.com. Thank you, everyone. This concludes our program.